Let's get into De Zerbi's training. No audio, guys, but we'll be narrating on top of it. So let's get into it.
Yeah, straight over to Lucas Bergvall.
Love it. Arm on the shoulder of Lucas Bergvall. He knows he's going to be a big player for him.
Yeah, I think Bergvall's going to take his game on leaps and bounds. You know, actually, just a quick one on Bergvall. I remember, he's going to put his arm around him again.
Look at that.
I remember when we having these discussions when he was playing under Ange and how he developed.
Yeah.
And he developed really well, I thought, in his last season under Ange. And, you know, he came in, you could see he was very raw and he made a few mistakes. And once he got up to speed, he was amazing and he got a Player of the Year. And I remember how we were having these debates, like, was it Ange who developed him or was it just his natural progression, given more game time, was he naturally developed into this player? But I think we've seen this season, he hasn't been quite as good, has he? Been played out of position, he hasn't quite had the same impact as he did last season. Even when he has played in the centre mid, which hasn't been as common, I don't think he's been as good as last season. So
I think that there has been some games where he's been brilliant this season, Bergvall.
Yeah, but last season he was quite consistently good.
Because he was consistently in his position.
That's my point. Like, I think when we've seen him this season, I think Ange did a lot of great work. My point being, I think De Zerbi is gonna get him back to what he was last season. I agree. And I think he's gonna develop even more. And I think De Zerbi's gonna make sure he's getting more out of those quick touches, 1-2 touches, which I think Bergvall needs a lot of work on. I think he hangs onto the ball too much. And I reckon De Zerbi's going to drill that out of him.
I agree.
He's spending a lot of time with Lucas, isn't he? Just giving him specific instructions.
He's keeping a keen eye on all the squad, man. He's not going to let anything get past him, Roberto De Zerbi.
Okay.
I saw him in another clip having a nice long chat with Joao Palhinha as well.
Joao Palhinha.
I wonder what De Zerbi can get out of Joao Palhinha. Can he raise his game? Can he get him doing things that we didn't think he could do?
Yeah, I wonder because there's a lot of people say. I've said I don't think he'll like Palhinha because of his lack of technical ability and stuff. But he did like people did point out that we did say the same thing about Højbjerg, and he did like Højbjerg. He liked him a lot.
I think Højbjerg is technically better than Joao Palhinha.
I agree, but still, we sold Højbjerg because he wasn't technically good enough, right? And he got a lot more out of Højbjerg, and he really liked Højbjerg. So maybe could he find something more out of Palhinha? And if he can get something more technically out of him, given his other unbelievable attributes, all of a sudden, you might think, should we be keeping this guy? I mean, it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, these 7 games are going to be big for him. Keep saying, play with your left, play with your left. We still don't know the coaching team behind Roberto.
No, there's a few. There are a few whispers, ITKs about his coaching staff. We don't know fully.
Someone here saying Palhinha could potentially play right back under De Zerbi.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks outside the box for a lot of different positions. He's very much like that, De Zerbi.
But the thing is, with his right backs, if he's going to move a midfielder from right to right back, he needs to be very technically gifted.
True.
He's very hands-on, De Zerbi. Extremely hands-on. What's he saying here? Impossible. You have to move. What's he saying? Archie can become what?
Couldn't really make out what he said at the end there. Archie can become anyone in the chat. But what he was saying here, you know, when you've got those overloads, 1-2 touch, and you can't lose the ball, impossible to lose the ball. If you've got those advantages and you play it quickly, 1-2 touch you play it accurately, quickly, impossible to lose the ball. So he's trying to drill into them to use those numerical advantages, I think, and which is something we never do. We never get these overloads.
It's such a breath of fresh air. Like, what was Frank telling them? Just get the ball to Kudus and the rest of your crap, basically.
Literally. So that's what it seemed anyway. Get those long throws in. That's
exactly.
Training. Get a long throw again. Another long throw. Come on, back again.
At this point of the Frank tenure, they were having long throw competitions.
Yeah, straight away. That was the first thing he did. It was like, long throws, guys. That's what we got to do. You know how like De Zerbi, that clip is like they're doing the rondo and they're like again. He's like quickly passing, and then Frank will do long throw and he'll be like again with a long throw, again, throw it in again.
It's a bit of 1-2 touch. Enjoy with the ball. Enjoy with the ball.
Enjoy. We never enjoy with the ball. We don't know how to enjoy with the ball.
He's saying, we have to move, play, we have to move.
That is something that 100% we have a massive issue with, and that's our movement when we have the ball.
Agreed.
When we have the ball, it is atrocious. The options we give to each other as teammates, the little interchanges, it is, especially in build-up, it is so bad. It is so bad. We look completely clueless when we're on the ball. And I think little things, little direction, I think it's going to make the world of difference even very quickly. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like, okay, we're now playing free-flowing football and, you know, dominating teams. But I think just little things where
it's those few percentages,
options,
isn't it?
But body positions, all those little things that we're just so devoid of in our game. It's ridiculous how bad we are. And I think De Zerbi will just implement these little things. You'll see a difference already, I reckon. You'll see a difference.
In this week alone, it's probably the only week of the whole season that these players have been coached into passing and moving. How crazy is that?
It's mad. I think under Frank, they were so kind of obsessed with getting the ball and running in behind. Every time you see Porro getting the ball, what do you see? Do you see players coming towards him? No, you see players going beyond him so he can hit a long ball over the top and they all run in behind. And there's always a massive space between Porro or the defender and the midfield, because that isn't what he coached them to do. He coached them to all run away from the ball, and so to stretch the opposition, to follow the runners, to create that space there, whereas De Zerbi's going to get everyone very close together. It's going to be very, very different.
Which we've been calling for all season.
Which any decent team does.
Yeah. So he's basically just told Spence there to call his agent.
What was he saying here? He's talking about He's talking about now it's individual possession. There are points where the individual has to take responsibility, I think he's saying.
Yeah, he's talking about the new thing in the Premier League is everyone's going man to man.
Yeah, it's become much more widespread.
And it's very different to the way De Zerbi managed when he was at Brighton. So it shows, you know, always adapting, always watching what's going on, and being able to overcome that.
No, but I think the main most important thing he's saying here is everyone's going man to man. So now it's more important that you win those individual battles. As much as we're going to be a team when we have the ball, everyone is going man to man. So everyone has to win individually their battles. It can't just be about the the team playing their way out of possession all the time with little changes. You need to take individual responsibility, and you need to win that individual battle. He's saying when it's man-to-man, he has to be one touch, two touch, because you've got someone there, you can't hang on to the ball for too long. So it's one touch, two touch, and you're away. That's what you got to do when it's man-to-man, to get away from your man. Because when a team sets up zonally, it's a lot easier to get a bit of time on the ball, manipulate it, to get a bit more time on the ball. Everyone's got a man on them. You can't afford to do that.
You've got seconds, and that's it.
And at the moment, we seem to be just losing every battle, don't we? When it's man to man, every time it's like we don't know what we're doing. And I think De Zerbi's got a better plan for this.
I love his enthusiasm in training. He's pretty much one of the players, isn't he? He's just like moving at the same pace of the game, keeping up with everyone. He wants to play himself.
And I like that. So the training session is you keep the ball for 20 passes, it seems you get a point. So I like that. He's really drilling into them. We need to be able to keep the ball a lot better.
And basically, he just counted up to 20 there, and he said 1 point. So that's probably haven't seen that in training the whole
first point of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
First point of the year.
Crazy.
Alive, alive, alive.
And Dragoshin loses the ball. 10.
Huh?
No, I was just counting with him. I was just counting with him. 7, 8, 9, 10. 7. Keep the ball 10. Keep the ball 10. I love the passion, man. I really do love the passion.
I was just watching that clip. I think Dragoshin nearly lost it about 3 times. There
Nearly, though.
Clip.
Nearly.
Yeah, he did keep it. But I like it. Alive, alive. That is something that we haven't been this season, alive. We've been dead the whole season. So I like that he's focusing on that. He's focusing on getting these players looking active, being on it, switched on. We look like every time we're on the ball, everyone is asleep. Everyone is clueless. But he's like, alive, alive, alive. Come on, look for the ball. Move around. Don't just watch the ball. Look for it. I love that. Oh.
Now it's on the fitness work. But it seems like they did quite well in keeping the ball, to be fair, as opposed to not being able to be trained all bloody year on it.
We know these players can keep the ball. We know, we've seen it. Obviously, we have our own discussions about what the costs of how Ange played. But what we do know is that when they had the ball and build up and all this kind of stuff, they were able to pass and move and play the ball progressively quite regularly. So they're very capable of doing it. 100%. And I think he knows that. And I like he's having a little discussion with Tell a bit about body position, about where to look, scanning. I like that as well.
The thing is that's a big thing with De Zerbi that a lot of coaches don't even touch on sometimes, in terms of what your body position is when you receive the ball, so you can quickly get it out to each individual channel.
And that's a very big thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's one of his main things.
And it's like small details like that that matter so much. See there, you could see what he's saying there to Tell.
Radu. They say Destiny ready. Come on, he wasn't ready, because you can see here, Let's see again, because he gave so Van der Ven passes into Destiny, and he's just on his toes a bit. He's not, he doesn't come into the ball and then bam, drags him, tackles him. He's telling him, be ready for the ball.
Gotta always be ready. What's he saying here?
So he's saying attract the pressure, which is what we know De Zerbi likes at press. He's talking about baiting the press, attract the pressure. And he said the speed of our opponent is going to decide the speed of our ball. So he's saying, I'm guessing he's saying, if the opponent's onto you quick, you need to be even quicker. If they're quicker, if they're slower, you can be calm, slow it down, and then, or the ball doesn't have to be as quick. But I think he's talking about adapting to what your opponent's doing, and whatever they do, you adapt to it. They decide how fast and quick you play that ball, or how quick you are, and that's very important. That's great. I think, but that also shows as well, he really is drilling in his way of playing, isn't he? I think we were debating, is he going to go fully De Zerbi? Is he going to be, is he going to try and take things back a notch and, just get through the season in giving simple instructions? But he seems to be trying to implement his way of playing very early on, doesn't he? Yeah.
It's interesting because, apparently in the first 3 or 4, I think it was the guy that you spoke to, I was listening to say, in the first 3 or 4 games at Brighton mid-season, he didn't go full on De Zerbi kind of in the initial phases. He kind of stuck to a lot of Potter principles at the beginning.
Well, I've heard conflicting things. He said that, but then I've heard other people, players from Brighton and also coaches what I think Klopp said. He was like, I was very surprised how quickly these Brighton players were playing very close to what De Zerbi wants immediately in that first game. So I think he tried to straight away, whether it was fully there or not. But a lot has been made of, he didn't win his first 5 games. So apparently they were playing quite well, even very early on. Just weren't getting the results.
Do you think it's underestimated how quickly a manager can get a squad up to kind of the way they want to play? Because you look at Ange, in that very first pre-season, we could see a clear identity of the way Ange wanted to play. And that, he didn't have that much time on the training pitch with them then.
We had a pre-season.
Yeah, but he was in pre-season for a couple of weeks before that first game. So he didn't
know game.
The pre-season game.
Oh right, yeah.
The one against West Ham.
Yeah.
So he imprinted his way of playing very quickly, Ange.
True, you can see it immediately.
Yeah,
you can see it immediately.
When they are coming strong, we need to be faster. We need to move the ball.
But also you have to give angles. You have to give angles give options. And I think that is something that we just don't do at the moment.
Never.
We never, ever. You look at a player and they seem to have no options ever. They seem to have no one in front of them, especially in the opposition half.
Yeah.
They seem to have no support ever. And he's saying he was saying here, you can pass, and then once the team comes, bam, you have to give options. You have to play faster. You have to, be alive. And that's just night and day to how he's been playing, isn't it? Give angle.
The doggy was a bit quicker there. Is that Olasesi there?
Yeah. Oh, doggy, nice.
He's going to micromanage literally everything, isn't he? From what they eat, to every pass they make, to their body positioning. Literally everything is going to be micromanaged in these players.
100%. Which we need. We need that.
It is needed, but under Ange, it was the opposite. They were not micromanaged at all under Ange Postecoglou.
No. Well,
they were giving so much freedom.
It was controlled chaos, they called it. It's a lot of freedom, but the freedom should cause chaos, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
But I'm saying both things can work. But Ange, you know, I don't think he restricted them from doing too much. If they wanted to make a run there, they'll make a run there. You know? De Zerbi's not like that. De Zerbi will be very regimented in terms of his style.
Very more Conte-like.
Yeah. But in an attacking way. Oh, good save. Who was that in goal? Was that Brandon?
What was that pass? Oh, unbelievable. Get him in number 10. Oh.
That's the best pass we've seen all season. Richie with a great finish.
And I think, what is this training trying to teach the players? Because he's clearly got the ball and he's giving them like different ways of restarting it, trying to surprise them.
Yeah,
so
it's of quick thinking.
Quick thinking. Bam.
Archie don't look too happy with himself.
So I don't think Richie knew he was going to pass there. I think it's all about anticipating.
Yeah. It's all about smelling out the opportunity. Instincts.
He said, "I'm the same with everybody." He said, I wonder what he's referring to.
No special treatment.
Oh, Joao. Oh. What was that? Let me see that touch again from Joao. Oh.
Ah. Joao Palhinha.
And a finish by Matisse as well.
Where did Joao Palhinha get that from?
Don't know where he pulled that out of the bag. All right. That's that.
Yeah, look, a lot of interesting stuff and a lot of things to be excited about and positive about and to look forward to as well. Like, I just can't wait for like a week of training to see how this can like relate to on the pitch in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think the main things to learn is what De Zerbi is actually going to implement straight away. Is he implementing his method straight away? Is he going full on, look, this is how I coach. We're going to play De Zerbi ball from day one, and that's what we're going to do. That's the best way we're going to get out of the situation. It looks like that's what he thinks, or that's what he's going to do. Press baiting, keeping the ball, focusing on in possession, kind of how we're going to play it on the ball. And it looks like that is going to be his main focus, which I think is very interesting, because there's a lot of question marks about how he's going to approach his last 7 games, having not been in this situation before. Now, the question is it the right thing to do? Because we don't really know, given that he's not been in this situation before, getting a team playing a certain way very quickly to get out of the situation that we're in. It's a kind of where he's in an unknown territory here. Is he capable of doing it? Is he capable of getting a team that is so devoid of confidence and so lacking any sort of passing in-game model in the whole season? Is he capable of getting them within a week or in the last 7 games to save themselves and they're 1 point above the relegation zone? Because we've seen managers like Deitch and whatever, they're capable of getting a team playing a very solid regimented way of football in a very short amount of time to keep them in a division. Now, can De Zerbi doing it playing this way? I'm not saying he can't, but I guess it's rare that we ever see a manager try to do it, isn't it?
I don't think we've ever seen it.
So, it's hard to say.
But also, we've never seen a club as big as Tottenham, where we are right now.
Yeah.
So everything, you're going into brand new territory. So I think the players that we do have, it's probably the best course of action or a good course of action to take. But look, at the end of the day, the proof is going to be in the pudding. We're going to have to wait and see how it progresses over the next 7 games. But if you want to go on the game this weekend against Sunderland, they're going to be sitting back. They're going to be giving us not much space in behind. The ball is going to be all in front of them. We're going to have to try and figure out a way to break down this low block, and this is probably the best way to try and do it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I do wonder if it does work really well if a firefighter starts looking different in the coming years. Like firefighters, we're going to start playing football now.
The thing is, it's all about getting the best of the tools at your disposal. Like if you're going into a Burnley, if you're going into a team down at the bottom, you're going to have not as much quality as a team at Tottenham, where I think at Tottenham we've got more players that can suit this kind of way of playing. If you go into one of those teams, it's probably best case of action to go that firefighting method, sit in the low block, defensive first, and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all kind of plays out.
Yeah, but it's very interesting to see him talk to the players, his kind of way of explaining things, his intensity. The players seem to be already kind of enjoying it. It looked like, again, look, it's first day of training. They might enjoy it now. Let's see if they enjoy it in a year's time. But I think, look, it looks good. It's a you know, I think you can learn a lot from that training video, and I think answers quite a few questions immediately.
I think what it comes down to, it always just comes down to results at the end of the day. I think the players will enjoy the training, the players will enjoy everything if they're seeing results at the end of it. Like even with Thomas Frank, like if we would have been getting results under Thomas Frank, it would have been fine. The players would have, you know, they would have been enjoying the method because they'll see it gets results.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that's what it all comes down to. Like with Conte, he had the same methods in year one than he had in year two. Year two didn't yield the results. That's when you started hearing all this disgruntlement and stuff. First year, they were loving it because we were getting the results. So if De Zerbi can get the results quickly, no matter what, they'll be absolutely loving life.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah, so there you have it. That is De Zerbi's training